Hi, I'm Vibhash Joshi and welcome to my LifePage. I'm here to talk about Treasury Management, but before that, a little introduction about myself. I have been born and brought up in Dehradun and where I completed my class 12th. Thereafter, I got graduated from Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies in Mumbai, where I pursued BCom Honors. After that, I got recruited in a company called Axis Risk Consulting, which provides client servicing solutions to one of the best and multinational corporates in India. Soon after that, I prepared for my CAT exam and I was lucky that I got admitted in one of the premier B schools in India, which is MDI Gurgaon. And I have done my post-graduation in finance from MDI Gurgaon. After my education in the college, I got recruited into General Electric Company, where I'm working as an assistant vice president in the corporate treasury department of GE. See, treasury is a very niche vertical of finance. You do not get to enter into treasury or you do not get to know about treasury until and unless you have definitely gone and studied about finance. See, now there are various aspects of finance. There is accounting, there is corporate finance, and then there is a vertical which is treasury, and that completely depends upon your day-to-day transactions and your day-to-day operations. What makes treasury different from the other verticals of finance is that treasury is the controlling authority of any company. Any transaction that happens in a day-to-day life, any kind of activity that is being done from a financial point of view is that is the priority in the treasury department, and it is a required educational qualification for the treasury people. It is finance. Treasury department is the core vertical of finance. You cannot get into treasury if you do not have the basic knowledge about finance. Now, a person might not be required to do accounting here. A person might not be required to, get into the core aspects of finance. But a little knowledge about finance is very important here, because every day, sometime or the other, you are required to show your financial skills specifically for treasury. At the same time, you need to have a knowledge about cash flow analysis as well. You need to have knowledge about business communication. As part of treasury, you are required to communicate with a lot of people. Number one is the bank. Why I would stress on banks is that for the banks, a company as big as GE, it has a portfolio just in Asia of billions of dollars, right? So treasury people are the point of contact for the banks. Whatever business banks want, whatever new account opening, whatever client servicing they are required to do, they all first get in touch with treasury, and then only they are actually allowed to, or they are permitted to talk to the businesses. So treasury is always the central point of contact for the banks. Number one is the recognition. I will tell you, being in a company as big as General Electric, where you have to manage a portfolio of billions of dollars in all currencies, and there is just one department that is doing that, and in a company of 3 lakh employees, 80 people or 100 people, because it is a very niche department, 80 to 100 people out of 3 lakh employees are just working and are just taking care of all the cash and finance of the company. That is the treasury department. I would say the first number one pe hai high responsibility. Back in 11th class, we studied a principle of Henry, and there were 14 principles of Henry in commerce, and one of that was authority and responsibility. I've already mentioned my authority in the positive, so here I'm going to mention the responsibilities as a challenge or a negative. Sometimes what happens is you have so much authority, you have so much controlling power that anything that goes wrong in the company, anything that goes wrong related to finance or the cash side, you are indirectly or directly responsible for that. You will be asked to answer. You will be certainly. I go to the office at 8 o'clock because as part of Asia Pacific region, I'm also covering the Australian region. And since Australia is around 5 hours ahead of us, we have to ensure that, we go to the office early. We manage the cash forecast that we receive for all of the countries. In all these countries, we have to ensure that the cash is optimally utilized. By 12 o'clock India time, we are ready to face the cutoffs, the currency cutoffs of the other countries, and then we keep on managing that cash. Sometimes we are in need of cash. Sometimes the other entities are in need of cash. So what we do is we redeem the deposits and all. After 12 o'clock, it's mostly project based. We are trying to set up treasury cash pools in various countries. Asia Pacific is not as developed as Europe is. So we are trying to set up different treasury facilities in countries like, China, in Hong Kong, in Korea, just because, these countries are not developed that well as compared to Europe, and the banking solutions are also not that good. But what we are trying to do is we are replicating the solutions of Europe to Asia. Sometimes what happens is banks set up meetings with us, they take out for lunch, they discuss their business activities, they discuss their solutions, and accordingly, we have to indulge in decision making for the same. Then we communicate with the businesses. There are ad hoc problems that we keep on facing. All we have to do is we do not have to get into anything, but we have to be knowing the right contact who can solve this. If there is any kind of activity that is not being performed, we make sure that it is being done, because we have the ability and we have the power to get it done. So we will be controlling both the teams and ensuring that the work is ultimately successful. And then as the day goes by, it depends upon the projects. So it's a monthly project or a weekly project, but after 12 o'clock, it's mostly ad hoc. I hope I've been able to give you a balanced view about treasury management. Thank you.